There's a handful of different ways. The first thing is it provides transparency into potential threats and vulnerabilities. So what do we mean by that? By virtue of taking logs of what's going on and looking at the data of what's going on inside of my system on a consistent basis, I'm able to see trends. I'm able to see when things change. I'm able to bubble up visibility of what's going on inside of my systems. And as a result of that, I'm able to know when things change. And that's really key, being able to understand what my system looks like when it's stable, because then only then am I going to realize what it looks like when it's unstable. I can also use log management to discover things that go back to that basic blocking and tackling. So, for example, if software is misconfigured, not properly patched, if people are changing their rights, getting escalated privileges, getting escalated access, getting too much access, all those events are going to show up in logs. So when I see those events show up in reports, I know these are things I need to address, things I need to look at. If I'm not looking at those reports and those reports aren't relevant and I just rubber stamp them and don't really get to know them, then this stuff won't help us. So having a good log management system that can take a massive amount of data, boil it down into a single pager that I can look at that tells me what's going on inside of my system is really, really key for prevention when it comes to log management. The second piece is detection. So, the title of this was Preventing the Next Data Breach, but what it really should be is preventing the next data breach / preventing too much damage when I get breached. Because the reality is, with today's malware, with today's sophisticated criminals, the likelihood is that everyone's going to get breached at some point. But how do I perform triage to make sure that a breach doesn't become an actual loss of data? A breach doesn't become actually painful to my organization. So a key thing with log management is it can not only allow me to prevent an attack, but allow me to detect an attack. All the things I've kind of talked about before are supportive of this, recognizing changes, recognizing behavior. It also allows you to look at things that just don't make sense. So when a new user is unexpectedly created, so if you're potentially pulling logs from multiple systems and you see that a user was created in this system and this user doesn't exist anywhere else. When I see a user created in one system upon new hire, I should probably see him be created in a bunch of systems upon new hire. If I see him only all of a sudden show up in one system and that system is a SOC system or a PCI system or a HIPAA governed system, now I need to be much more careful about when that user shows up. Same thing may be elevated privileges. So I see users suddenly gaining access. Those are the types of things I want to look at and I want to verify. So when I see a person suddenly get administrative access or suddenly get access to financially relevant information, that's when I want to question someone. Because I want to say, listen, just want to make sure that this person deserved this access.